Welcome to my channel Galactic War Story. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. At the farthest edge of mapped space, where signals faded into static and even the stars seemed hesitant to shine, a human pilot received a distress call that should not have existed. It was not just old. It was ceremonial, layered with protocols abandoned centuries ago, repeating like a ghost that refused to accept silence. Most ships ignored such things. Most captains trusted probability over instinct. But humanity had never been built on most. And so, against better judgment and every sensible calculation, one lone ship turned toward the dying signal. Commander Aliens Vorn was not reckless. He was precise, disciplined, and known across trade routes as someone who completed missions others refused. His vessel, the Resolute Dawn, cut through ionized debris with controlled efficiency, its reinforced hull glowing faintly under electromagnetic stress. Inside, systems adjusted continuously, predicting hazards before they fully formed. The onboard intelligence monitored him closely, registering elevated focus and a familiar pattern. This was the moment Aliens stopped following protocol and started trusting instinct. It had saved lives before. It had also nearly killed him. The distress signal grew stronger as he approached. What emerged from the darkness was unlike anything built by human hands. The vessel floated like a fractured star, its surface woven with luminous veins that pulsed faintly despite heavy damage. Sections of its hull had been torn open, not by random impact but by deliberate force. Clean edges, surgical precision. Whoever had attacked this ship had not intended to destroy it entirely. They had wanted it disabled, stranded, helpless. That realization alone shifted the situation from rescue to something far more dangerous. Aliens guided his ship closer, matching velocity with careful precision. Debris drifted between the vessels, fragments of something that had once been whole. His system scanned continuously, identifying unknown alloys and energy residues that did not match any known human or allied technology. That alone would have been enough to justify retreat, but the life signs inside the alien ship told a different story. Faint, fading, still there. Humanity had a simple rule in moments like this. If someone was still alive, you did not leave. Docking clamps engaged with a deep mechanical certainty. The two ships connected, human engineering locking onto alien design without hesitation. Atmospheric systems synchronized cautiously, each vessel testing the other for compatibility. The Resolute Dawn adapted first, recalibrating its internal environment to accommodate unknown biology. It did not wait for permission. It adjusted because that was what it was built to do. Aliens moved immediately, sealing his suit and stepping into the airlock as the hatch opened with a low, resonant hum. The interior of the alien vessel felt alive. Light flowed instead of shone, reacting subtly to his presence. The air carried a faint, calming scent, engineered to steady the mind even in crisis. It almost worked. His boots struck the curved flooring as he advanced, repair drones dispersing around him in a silent swarm. They sealed fractures, reinforced weak points, and stabilized the environment without direct command. Every step forward was measured, every motion efficient. But beneath the discipline, something else stirred. A memory, distant but persistent, rising as if called. The strongest life sign moved deeper within the ship. Aliens followed, navigating corridors that curved like flowing water, past damage that told a story of precision and intent. Then he saw her. Standing in a chamber illuminated by fading golden light, she looked both unbreakable and impossibly fragile. Her armor shimmered with intricate patterns, cracked but still active, faint energy tracing across its surface. When she turned, their eyes met, and recognition struck like a shockwave that logic could not contain. Years ago, he had carried someone from a collapsing structure on a distant world. Smoke, fire, gravity failing, and a body he had not expected to see again. That moment had been filed away as another completed mission. Another life saved, another line closed, but reality had just rewritten that assumption. She moved before he could speak, crossing the distance in seconds, momentum carrying her forward until she collided with him, arms wrapping tightly around his suit with a force that spoke of relief, not protocol. "I thought I'd never see you again." Her voice trembled not with fear but with something deeper. Elias froze for half a second, not from confusion but from the weight of understanding. Then instinct took over. His arms rose, steady and careful, returning the embrace with the same grounded certainty he used in every rescue. "You're safe now," he said quietly. It was a line he had spoken countless times, but this time it carried something different, something personal. She pulled back slightly, searching his face, her composure replaced by something raw and unguarded. The ship shuddered violently, pulling them back into the present. Warning signals flared along the walls, alien symbols pulsing with urgency. Structural integrity was failing rapidly. Systems were collapsing in cascading patterns. Whatever had attacked this vessel had not intended it to survive long. Elias shifted instantly, his focus snapping into operational clarity. "How many survivors?" he asked. She steadied herself, regaining control with visible effort. "Enough to matter," she answered. That was all he needed to hear. He activated his interface, deploying additional drones and mapping evacuation routes in real time. The Resolute Dawn responded instantly, preparing medical support and environmental adjustments. Efficiency defined every movement. Humanity did not waste time in moments like this. She watched him briefly, something thoughtful passing through her expression. "You came," she said softly. He did not look up. "I answer calls." She shook her head slightly. "That is not the same thing." Before he could respond, another impact struck the hull. External. Deliberate. His sensors updated instantly. Multiple signatures, unknown, closing fast. The attackers had returned. Elias exhaled slowly, a faint, almost amused expression touching his face. "Of course they did." Her posture shifted, tension sharpening into readiness. "They will not let us leave." He turned toward the corridor, motioning forward. "Then we don't ask permission." Together they moved, gathering survivors, guiding them through a dying ship toward uncertain safety. Behind them, space began to ripple again. And this time, humanity was ready. The moment the final survivor crossed into the Resolute Dawn, the hatch sealed with a decisive clang that echoed like a promise. Inside, the ship adapted instantly. Atmospheric processors recalibrated, balancing oxygen, pressure, and trace elements for unfamiliar physiology. Lighting softened, shifting toward warmer tones as if the vessel itself understood the need for calm after chaos. Human ships were not elegant, but they were relentless. They adjusted, endured, and carried on. Medical drones moved with quiet urgency, surrounding the injured in fields of stabilization. Wounds were analyzed, treated, and prioritized without hesitation. There was no panic, no confusion, just motion, purpose, and precision. The alien crew watched with a mixture of exhaustion and disbelief. Their own vessel had been graceful, refined, and advanced, but it had not been this adaptable. It had not been built to improvise under pressure the way human technology did without second thought. Elias stood at the center of the command deck, eyes scanning layers of tactical projections unfolding around him. Outside, the damaged alien ship drifted in slow rotation, tethered for now but exposed. He did not like leaving it behind, but survival came first. It always did. The onboard intelligence updated continuously, feeding him trajectories, probabilities, and threat vectors. Every piece of information aligned into a single, unavoidable conclusion. They were not alone. "They're here," he said quietly. The princess stepped beside him, her presence steady despite everything. Her armor had dimmed, its fractured glow reflecting the strain of the battle behind them, but her posture remained unbroken, her gaze focused and clear. "They followed us," she observed. There was no fear in her voice now, only certainty. The first strike came without warning. A beam of concentrated energy tore through space and slammed into the Resolute Dawn's shields. The impact rippled outward, lighting the hull in a cascade of blue-white energy. The ship trembled, systems compensating instantly, redistributing power where needed. No alarms screamed. No systems failed. It held. Elias allowed himself a small, satisfied nod. Good. Another strike followed, sharper, more precise. The attackers were not testing strength, they were testing response, measuring reaction time, shield frequency, maneuver capability, learning. Elias leaned forward slightly, studying the incoming data. They're adapting. The princess did not look away from the display. They did the same to us. Outside, space twisted as three angular constructs phased partially into view. Their forms shimmered between visibility and distortion, sleek and deliberate. They moved like predators, not machines. Every motion had intent. They want me, she said. Elias did not hesitate. They'll have to go through me. That is not a logical decision. Good thing I'm not here to be logical. The constructs shifted formation. One aligned directly with the drifting alien vessel, its energy building along sharp, geometric edges. It was going to eliminate the target, remove the reason for intervention. Elias reacted instantly. The resolute Dawn surged forward, engines flaring as it placed itself between the attackers and the damaged ship. The beam fired. The shields took the hit. The deck vibrated violently, energy cascading across defensive layers in blinding arcs. Systems strained, calculations spiked, but the ship held. It always held. The princess turned sharply toward him, something like disbelief crossing her expression. You shielded us. I don't leave jobs unfinished, he replied. Another volley came, faster this time. Elias adjusted shield harmonics mid-impact, dispersing the energy before it could penetrate. His fingers moved across the controls with practiced speed, every action precise, every decision immediate. Human reflex. Human instinct. Human refusal to yield. The constructs hesitated. It was brief, barely noticeable. But Elias saw it. They're thinking, he muttered. Machines do not think, the princess said. These do. He initiated a new command. From the hull of the Resolute Dawn, dozens of microdrones launched outward, scattering in controlled chaos. Each emitted a signal identical to the ship's own energy signature, flooding the surrounding space with false targets. Confusion. Misdirection. The constructs reacted instantly. Two diverted, chasing decoys. The third remained locked on the real ship. That one's the problem, Elias said. The construct fired again, a narrow beam designed not for destruction but for analysis. It struck the shields at an angle, probing for weakness. Elias adjusted frequencies mid-contact, forcing the energy to disperse harmlessly. The construct recalibrated. So did he. The exchange became something else entirely. Not combat, not yet. A conversation. Action answered by reaction. Move countered by move. Two opposing forces learning from each other in real time. The princess stepped closer, watching the patterns unfold. They are studying you. Elias allowed a faint grin. Then I hope they're taking notes. Another volley built. This one stronger. Decisive. Elias made his move. He cut primary engines without warning. At the same instant, he released the tether holding the alien ship. The sudden shift in mass and motion sent both vessels drifting in opposite directions. The construct fired. Its beam missed. By centimeters. Elias reignited the engines at full thrust, angling the Resolute Dawn downward into a dense field of drifting debris. Fragments of metal and fractured hull sections spun unpredictably, creating a chaotic environment no precise system could easily navigate. The constructs followed, but their perfection became a disadvantage. One clipped a rotating fragment, its distortion field flickering violently. Another veered sharply, losing alignment. Their calculated precision faltered in the face of randomness. Elias maneuvered through the debris with controlled aggression, shields flaring as fragments struck and deflected away. The ship moved like something alive, reacting instinctively rather than predictably. Human design philosophy. Not perfect. Adaptable. Unpredictable. Dangerous. They are withdrawing, the onboard intelligence confirmed. One by one, the constructs phased out, their signatures dissolving into nothing. Silence returned. Elias slowed the ship, reestablishing a stable trajectory. Behind them, the alien vessel drifted, damaged but intact. Alive. The princess stood beside him, her breathing steady, her gaze fixed on the empty space where the enemy had been. "They will return," she said quietly. "Yes," Elias replied. She turned to him then, truly studying him, not as a rescuer, not as an anomaly, but as something else entirely. "You could have left." "Yes, but you stayed." He shrugged slightly. "That's what we do." "That is not an explanation." "It's enough." She considered that, then nodded slowly. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, silent and indifferent. But something had changed. The attackers had seen humanity, measured it, tested it, and survived the encounter, which meant they would come back stronger, prepared. But so would humanity. Elias looked forward, already plotting the next move, already anticipating the next encounter. Because this was no longer just a rescue. It was the beginning of something larger, something inevitable. At the edge of the unknown, humanity had made its presence clear. And history had always followed the same rule. When humanity stepped into the dark learned to be afraid,